Rich entrepreneur donates his luxury car to homeless teen, but what happens next will amaze you and change their futures forever. The sun poured its warmth over Los Angeles on that bright spring morning, casting a golden glow over the city. Victor Thorne stood on the balcony of his penthouse, sipping an espresso while looking out at the skyline. The view was stunning, yet a sense of emptiness gnawed at him. He had everything: money, luxury cars, and a life many would envy. But deep down, he felt a void that no amount of wealth could fill. "What is it all for?" he whispered to himself, the question echoing in the silence of his grand home. As Victor wandered back inside, he thought about the charity event happening that evening. It was one of those high-profile galas where the rich mingled with the famous, all for a good cause. He had attended many such events before, but this time felt different. Something inside him stirred, a flicker of curiosity mixed with a sense of longing. "Maybe this is what I need," he murmured, "a chance to do something meaningful." With that thought, he made up his mind to go. When he arrived at the event, the buzz of laughter and clinking glasses surrounded him. Victor mingled with familiar faces, but he felt detached from the conversations. As he walked through the crowd, a vibrant energy caught his attention. He paused, noticing a young boy sitting on the steps outside the venue. Eli was only 17, with tousled hair and clothes that hung loosely on his thin frame. His eyes, however, held a spark that intrigued Victor. Eli looked up as Victor approached, a hint of surprise crossing his face. "Hey," Victor said, kneeling down to meet his gaze. "What are you doing out here?" "Just watching," Eli replied, his voice steady despite the circumstances. "It's a nice place." He gestured to the gala, where laughter and music flowed like a river. Victor studied Eli, taking in the stark contrast between their lives. Here was a boy, barely older than a child, sitting on the steps while inside, people danced and celebrated their fortunes. "You should be in there," Victor suggested, a sense of responsibility igniting within him. "It's not fair that you're out here while they're in there enjoying life." Eli shrugged, a faint smile breaking through his somber expression. "Not everyone gets to enjoy the party, I guess." Victor felt a wave of guilt wash over him. How many times had he taken his life for granted? "What do you need?" he asked, surprising himself with the urgency in his voice. "Just a chance," Eli said, his gaze unwavering. "A chance to create, to be something more." Victor's heart raced. He could feel the weight of Eli's words pressing down on him. "I didn't realize how blind I've been," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I want to help you." Eli looked at him, eyes wide with disbelief. "Help me? Just like that?" "Yeah, just like that," Victor replied. "But I need to understand. What's your story?" Eli hesitated, as if weighing his words. "I used to have dreams. I wanted to be an artist, but life happened. Now, I just try to survive." A heavy silence fell between them, and Victor felt his heart ache for the young boy. The luxury of his penthouse felt like a distant memory, overshadowed by Eli's struggles. "I can't just ignore this," Victor thought, the gears in his mind turning. As they spoke, Victor's internal struggle emerged. He realized that wealth was meaningless if it was not used to uplift others. "What if my life could mean something more?" he pondered. "What if I could make a difference?" Eli's words lingered in his mind, and a spark of determination ignited. This encounter had shifted something within him. "I need to do more than just give money," Victor concluded. "I need to be part of a solution." As the evening wore on, the laughter and music faded into the background. Victor's heart raced with possibilities, and in that moment, he knew his life was about to change forever. Victor Thorne stood outside the bustling cafe, the sun still warm on his face, but his heart felt heavy. After meeting Eli, the young homeless boy, he couldn't shake off the feeling that he needed to do something more. He had given Eli a sandwich and some cash, but it felt like a band-aid on a deep wound. "I can't just keep giving him food," Victor muttered to himself, shaking his head. I need to do something that really helps. Over the next few days, Victor made it a point to find Eli again. He visited the park where they had first met, hoping to catch a glimpse of the boy. When he finally saw him sitting on a bench, sketching in a worn notebook, his heart lifted. "Hey, Eli," Victor called out, approaching with a smile. Eli looked up, his eyes widening with recognition. "Mr. Thorne, you came back." "Of course. I wanted to see how you were doing," Victor said, feeling a rush of warmth at the boy's enthusiasm. He sat down beside him, glancing at the drawings. They were simple, yet beautiful, filled with a raw emotion that resonated with Victor. "Wow, these are great," he praised. "You have a real talent." Eli shrugged, a shy smile creeping onto his face. "Thanks. I just draw what I see. It helps me forget everything else." Victor nodded, understanding the weight behind Eli's words. "You know, art can be a powerful thing. It can change lives." "Yeah," Eli replied, his gaze dropping to the ground. "But it won't change mine. I'm stuck here." Victor felt a pang in his heart. He had been stuck in his own way, trapped in a life that felt empty despite its luxury. You don't have to be stuck. You can pursue your dreams, Eli. You just need the right support. Their conversations grew deeper with each meeting. Victor learned about Eli's life on the streets, about his dreams of becoming a famous artist, and how he longed for a stable home. In return, Victor opened up about his own struggles, his loneliness, and the emptiness of his wealth. "Sometimes I feel like I have everything but nothing at all," Victor admitted one day, watching Eli sketch. "It's strange, isn't it?" Eli paused, looking up with curiosity. "What do you mean?" "I have money, a big house, cars, but it doesn't fill the void inside me." "I thought it would, but it just makes me feel more alone," Victor confessed, his voice soft. Eli nodded slowly, understanding the complexity of Victor's feelings. "I get that. Sometimes, I think about how nice it would be to have a place to call home and someone who cares." The bond between them grew stronger, but Victor felt a pull in his heart. He knew that offering food and small donations was not enough. He needed to think bigger. One afternoon, as they sat under a tree, Eli's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I want to create a mural one day, a big one that tells my story and the stories of others like me." Victor smiled, inspired by Eli's passion. "You should. That would be amazing. You have so much to say through your art." "But I can't do it alone," Eli said, his voice tinged with sadness. "I don't have the materials or a place to work on it." Victor felt a surge of determination. "What if I help you? I can provide supplies, a space, whatever you need to get started." Eli's eyes widened in disbelief. "You would really do that? For me?" "Absolutely," Victor replied, his heart racing at the thought of making a real difference. "You deserve the chance to follow your dreams." Eli smiled, but then his expression turned serious. "But it's not just about the art, is it? I need a way to change my life, to break free from all this." Victor nodded, the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. "I know. I'll help you find that way, Eli. Together, we can make it happen." As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, Victor felt a sense of purpose awaken within him. He realized that helping Eli was not just about giving. It was about creating opportunities, building a future, and in that moment, he knew their journeys were intertwined, both seeking to break free from the chains that held them back. Victor stood by his luxury car, the sunlight glinting off the polished surface. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the decision he was about to make. Eli had become more than just a homeless boy to him. He was a young artist with dreams, and Victor wanted to help him reach those dreams. "This car can open doors for you, Eli," he thought. "It can change everything." As Eli approached, Victor felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. He wanted to see the hope in Eli's eyes when he made the offer, but he also feared how Eli might react. "Hey, Eli," Victor called out, his voice steady. "I want to give you something." Eli's brow furrowed in confusion. "What do you mean?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Victor gestured toward the car. "I want you to have my car. I think it can help you follow your passion for art." Eli stood frozen, his heart racing. "Your car?" he repeated, disbelief written all over his face. "But why would you do that for me?" "Because I believe in you," Victor replied, his tone sincere. "I see your talent, Eli. This car can take you to galleries or meetings. It can help you show your art to the world." Eli's eyes widened as he considered the offer. Hope began to mix with fear. "What if I mess up? What if I can't handle it?" Victor stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on Eli's shoulder. "You won't mess up. You have the talent. Just think about what this could mean for you. You can create a future that you want." Eli looked down at the ground, his mind racing. The thought of driving a luxury car was both thrilling and daunting. "I've never had anything like this," he admitted. "What if I don't deserve it?" "You deserve every chance to succeed," Victor said firmly. "This is your chance to start fresh. Don't let fear hold you back." Eli nodded slowly, still uncertain. "Okay, I'll try. But it feels so big." Victor smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. "It is big, but you're ready for this, Eli." That day, Eli took the car for the first time. He sat behind the wheel, the leather seats soft and inviting. As he turned the key and the engine roared to life, a sense of freedom washed over him. He drove through the streets of Los Angeles, the city he had known for so long but had only experienced from the sidewalks. Now, he was part of it in a new way. Eli felt the wind in his hair as he drove, his heart pounding with excitement and fear. "This is really happening," he whispered to himself. He thought of his art, of the paintings he wanted to create, and of the life he dreamed of. Later, Victor stood in front of a gallery, his heart swelling with pride. This was the moment he had hoped for, the day Eli would showcase his art. As people began to arrive, Victor spotted Eli across the room, nervously adjusting his tie and glancing at the paintings. Eli looked out at the crowd, a mix of excitement and insecurity flooding his mind. "What if they don't like my work?" he wondered, biting his lip. Victor approached him, sensing the boy's unease. "You've worked hard for this, Eli. Trust your talent." Eli took a deep breath, nodding. "I'll try." As the exhibition began, Victor watched Eli speak to visitors, sharing the stories behind his paintings. He saw the way Eli's confidence grew with each conversation. Victor felt a sense of connection, knowing that he had played a part in Eli's journey. But as Eli continued to shine, the shadows of insecurity lingered. The weight of expectations pressed down on him. "What if I can't keep this up?" he thought, glancing at Victor, who stood proudly in the background. "Hey, Eli," Victor called, catching his attention. "You're doing amazing." Eli smiled, but inside, he still battled with doubt. The night was a success, but he knew there would be more challenges ahead. For now, however, he embraced the moment, aware that both he and Victor were on a path of transformation, guided by art and hope. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm golden glow over Los Angeles. As Victor Thorne looked out from his balcony, he felt a sense of pride. His life had changed since meeting Eli, the young artist who had stolen his heart. Victor had taken on the role of mentor, guiding Eli through the maze of success that had come his way. "Eli, how are you feeling about your exhibition next week?" Victor asked as they sat in the living room, surrounded by Eli's vibrant paintings. The colors danced on the walls, a testament to Eli's talent. "I'm excited, but also scared," Eli admitted, his hands fidgeting with the hem of his shirt. "What if people don't like my work? What if I disappoint you?" Victor leaned forward, concern etched on his face. "Eli, you have to remember that you're creating for yourself first. It's about expressing who you are. Don't let fear hold you back." Eli nodded, but the tension in his shoulders remained. The pressure of success was heavy. He had come so far, but with that came expectations he had never faced before. He wanted to make Victor proud, but the fear of failure loomed over him like a dark cloud. Later that week, while Eli was sketching in the park, he spotted a familiar face approaching. It was Jordan, an old friend from the streets. Jordan had a wild look in his eyes, and Eli felt a mix of emotions: nostalgia, fear, and a hint of temptation. "Eli, there you are," Jordan called out, grinning widely. "I heard about your art show. You're living the dream, man." Eli hesitated. "Yeah, I guess so. Things are different now." "Different? Come on, you can come back with me. We could make some quick cash, just like old times. You don't need to be stuck in this art world if you don't want to be," Jordan urged, his voice smooth and convincing. Eli's heart raced. The offer was tempting, but he knew the path it led to. "I'm not that person anymore, Jordan. I have something good going on," he replied, trying to keep his voice steady. "Good? You think this art thing will last? It's just a phase, man. Join me, and we can take what we want." "It's easy," Jordan pressed, stepping closer. Eli felt a rush of anger mixed with fear. "I'm not going back to that life. I have Victor now, and he believes in me." "Victor? What does he know? He's just a rich guy playing savior. You really think he'll stick around when things get tough?" Jordan challenged, his tone sharp. Eli took a deep breath, the conflict within him swirling. He thought of Victor's support, the way he had opened doors for him. "I can handle my choices, Jordan. I won't let you pull me back," he said firmly, his voice gaining strength. With that, Eli turned away, leaving Jordan behind. The encounter shook him, but he knew he had to stand his ground. When he returned home, Victor was waiting for him, a knowing look on his face. "Eli, you look troubled. What happened?" Victor asked, concern evident in his voice. Eli took a seat and recounted the encounter with Jordan. "He tried to tempt me back to my old life. I was scared I might give in," Eli confessed, his voice trembling. Victor placed a reassuring hand on Eli's shoulder. "It's okay to feel scared. It shows you care about the choices you make. But remember, you have the strength to choose your path. You've come too far to turn back now." Eli felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. "Thanks, Victor. I don't want to disappoint you or myself. I want to prove that I can do this." "You already are proving it, Eli. Every day you choose your art over the past, you're making a statement. Just keep trusting yourself," Victor encouraged, his eyes shining with pride. As they sat together, Eli felt a sense of calm settle over him. He was not alone in this journey. With Victor by his side, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The bond between them had grown stronger, and Eli knew that he could navigate this new world of expectations and fears, one brushstroke at a time. Eli stood at the edge of the sidewalk, feeling the weight of his old friend's words hanging in the air. The sun shone brightly above, but Eli felt a chill run down his spine. "Come on, Eli," his friend had said, a sly smile on his face. "You know you can make easy money with us. Why waste time with this art stuff? You could have it all." Eli looked down the street, where he had come from, and then back at the path ahead. He remembered the struggles he had faced and how far he had come since meeting Victor. His heart raced as he made the choice to reject the easy path. "No," Eli said firmly. "I'm not going back to that life. I want to make something of myself." As he walked away from his friend, Eli felt a sense of freedom wash over him. Each step was a reminder of the promise he made to himself and to Victor. He was committed to his art and the support he received from the man who had become a mentor and a father figure to him. Meanwhile, Victor sat in his sleek office, his mind racing. He had been thinking about the conversation he had with Eli just days before. "Eli, you have to be true to your art, no matter what," he had said, his voice steady. "You can't let anyone else decide your path for you." Now, as he stared out at the Los Angeles skyline, Victor felt a mixture of pride and concern. He knew that Eli had faced many temptations since they met. The world was full of easy choices that could lead him down a dark path. But Victor also understood that true generosity meant giving Eli the space to make his own decisions, even if those choices were difficult. That evening, they met at a small cafe that had become their usual spot. The air was filled with the scent of coffee and fresh pastries. Victor watched Eli as he walked in, his eyes bright with excitement. "Victor, you won't believe what happened today," Eli exclaimed, his voice full of energy. Victor smiled, motioning for Eli to sit. "Tell me everything," he said, leaning in with genuine interest. "I had a chance to paint at the community center today," Eli began, his hands animated as he spoke. "And I showed the kids some of my techniques. They loved it. I could see how inspired they were, just like I was when I first met you." Victor's heart swelled with pride. "That's amazing, Eli. You're not just creating art, you're creating hope for others." Eli nodded, his expression turning serious. "I want to continue doing this. I want to help kids like me who feel lost and don't know where to go. I want them to see that they can make something of themselves." Victor leaned back in his chair, contemplating Eli's words. "You're right. You have a gift, Eli, and sharing it with others will only make your journey more meaningful." As they talked, Eli shared stories of the kids he had met, and Victor listened intently. The bond between them deepened with each word exchanged. They both recognized how much they had changed each other's lives. "Eli," Victor said after a pause, "I want you to know that I believe in you. You have the power to inspire others, just like you've inspired me." Eli looked at Victor, his voice softening. "I couldn't have done any of this without you. You showed me that I could have a future. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." They sat in silence for a moment, each lost in thought. The cafe buzzed around them, but in that moment, it felt like they were the only two people in the world. Finally, Eli broke the silence. "Victor, I promise to stay true to my art. I won't let anyone pull me back into that life. I want to make a difference." Victor smiled warmly, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. "And I'll be here to support you, no matter what. We're in this together." As they left the cafe, Eli felt a renewed sense of purpose. The path ahead was still uncertain, but with Victor by his side, he knew he could face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they were creating a ripple effect of hope and change, not just for themselves, but for others who needed it most. Eli stood in front of the large canvas in his studio, paintbrush in hand. The sunlight poured through the windows, casting warm golden light across the room. His heart raced as he thought about the opening of his new exhibition later that week. He had come so far from the streets, yet the pressure of success felt heavy on his shoulders. "Eli, are you ready for this?" Victor asked, leaning against the doorframe. He watched Eli with a mix of pride and concern. Victor had been there every step of the way, guiding Eli as he transformed from a homeless teenager into a recognized artist. "I think so," Eli replied, setting his brush down. "But what if people don't like my work? What if I fail?" His voice trembled slightly, revealing the doubts that lingered beneath his confident exterior. Victor stepped into the room, his presence warm and reassuring. "You have to remember why you started painting in the first place. It's not just about the fame or the recognition. It's about expressing yourself and sharing your story. You've already inspired so many people, including me." Eli nodded, absorbing Victor's words. He felt a sense of gratitude for the man who had become a father figure to him. "I just want to help others like me. I want them to see that there's hope, even when things seem impossible." Victor smiled. "And you will. You've already started to do that. What about your idea for the mentorship program?" Eli's eyes lit up. "Yes. I want to create a space where young artists can come together, share their stories, and learn from one another. I want to show them that art can change lives." "That's a wonderful idea, Eli. You have the power to help others just like you," Victor said, his voice filled with encouragement. We can organize workshops, invite experienced artists, and create a community that fosters creativity. Eli felt a surge of excitement. I can't believe I'm actually going to do this. It feels like a dream. As the days passed, Eli worked tirelessly to prepare for both his exhibition and the mentorship program. He reached out to local art schools and community centers, eager to spread the word about his vision. He wanted to make a difference, just as Victor had done for him. On the night of the exhibition, the gallery buzzed with energy. People filled the room, admiring Eli's work and discussing the powerful messages behind each piece. Victor stood by Eli's side, beaming with pride as he watched the crowd react to the art. "This is amazing, Eli. Look at how people are responding to your work," Victor said, excitement bubbling in his voice. Eli felt a warmth in his chest as he listened to the compliments. Yet, as the night wore on, he noticed a familiar face in the crowd. It was his old friend, Jake, the one who had once tempted him back into a life of crime. Eli's heart raced. He had worked so hard to leave that life behind. "Hey Eli, you've really made a name for yourself," Jake said, flashing a cocky smile. "Think you might want to come back and join the crew? We could use someone with your talent." Eli took a deep breath, remembering the lessons he had learned. "No, Jake, I'm not going back. I have a different path now. I'm focused on my art and helping others." Jake scoffed, crossing his arms. "Helping others? You think that will pay the bills? You're just a kid playing with paint." Eli felt the weight of Jake's words but stood tall. "Art is more than just a hobby for me. It's a way to inspire change. I want to help young people find their voices too." Victor stepped forward, his voice firm. "Eli is right. He's creating something meaningful here. It's not about money. It's about purpose." Jake rolled his eyes and walked away, but Eli felt a sense of relief wash over him. He had stood his ground, and it felt empowering. Later that night, as the last guests left the gallery, Eli turned to Victor. "Thank you for being here for me. I couldn't have done this without you." Victor smiled, placing a hand on Eli's shoulder. "You've come so far, Eli. I'm proud of you. Together, we will help others find their paths through art." As they cleaned up the gallery, Eli felt a renewed sense of purpose. He was ready to launch his mentorship program and continue the work that would change lives, just as Victor had changed his. They were partners in a mission, building a legacy of hope and inspiration for the future. Share this story if you believe that art has the power to inspire change and uplift lives. Leave a comment about a time when someone believed in you and helped you find your path. Don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting stories like this one.